I originally recorded this monologue on January 26, marking the completion of Trump's first year back in office. At that point, my argument was already clear. The 2028 race had quietly begun, and factions within the Republican Party were positioning themselves early. But Marco Rubio's speech at the Munich Security Conference on February 14 changed the timing of this release. And at the same conference, the product of privileged AOC fumbled, and she did bad, when she stepped onto the global stage for the first time. She struggled to answer a basic question about whether the United States should commit troops to defend Taiwan if China were to invade. Instead of a firm stance, she delivered a hesitant, roundabout reply on issue as important as Taiwan for USA. Makes sense when you make it there after faking it, and now you don't have a clue. Her response was hilarious. Her position is sage. So leave her, let's go back to our tiger, Rubio. In Munich, Rubio didn't just represent the administration, he positioned himself. He spoke about Western unity, civilizational identity, strategic alignment between the United States and Europe, and the future of global order. His tone was controlled, diplomatic, but firm. It wasn't chaotic. It wasn't impulsive. It felt deliberate. And that matters. Because when you combine that performance with earlier symbolic signals, including imagery placing him alongside Trump and J.D. Vance, the succession dynamics become harder to ignore. The Republican bench is not empty. It is organizing. So while this monologue was recorded weeks ago, Rubio's European appearance cemented the thesis for me. The internal positioning for 2028 is already underway. And I don't see a reason to wait any longer to post this. So here it is. Politics doesn't move during election season. It moves in silence. It moves in donor meetings, think tanks, private dinners, conferences, podcasts, and closed-door strategy sessions. Trump is 1 year into his term, but 2028 is already breathing. On the Republican side, you can see the outlines forming. J.D. Vance represents one faction, the post-liberal, tech-aligned, nationalist intellectual wing. Yes, Peter Thiel has backed him. But beyond Thiel, you see influence networks that include venture capital circles, Silicon Valley contrarians, parts of the new right media ecosystem, and thinkers clustered around policy institutes that challenge traditional globalism. This is the faction that reads books, talks about civilizational decline, questions NATO structures, questions trade orthodoxy, questions the administrative state. They don't just want to win elections. They want to redesign institutions. Then there's the donor establishment conservative wing, more comfortable with traditional Republican financiers, corporate networks, foreign policy hawks, and legacy party operators. Marco Rubio fits more comfortably here. He speaks the language of diplomacy. He performs well at global security conferences. He reassures allies while maintaining conservative positions. Rubio's support ecosystem is different. It includes traditional GOP donor networks, foreign policy conservatives, national security Republicans, and institutional strategists who prefer stability over experimentation. He doesn't scare the system. He navigates it. Now ask yourself, why would both Vance and Rubio appear symbolically positioned around Trump in public narratives? Because factions are hedging. Some are betting on ideological transformation. Others are betting on disciplined continuity. And Republicans, whether people like it or not, already look like they're preparing successors. Now shift to Democrats. This is where things get interesting. The Democratic Party does not lack talent. It lacks consolidation. Vice President Kamala Harris remains the most obvious institutional heir. But institutional heir does not automatically mean consensus candidate. Pete Buttigieg represents technocratic liberalism, Articulate, media-savvy, policy-heavy. Governors like Gavin Newsom represent the progressive executive model, aggressive culture war response, state-level governance as a national template. Gretchen Whitmer carries Midwestern appeal and executive credibility. Josh Shapiro is rising quietly in Democratic circles. AOC, well, good luck after Munich debacle. On top of that, whether her wing can win nationally is another debate. Then there's the wild card factor. A Democratic governor who hasn't yet emerged nationally, but could rise rapidly if the party senses vulnerability. Democrats have options, but options are not the same as alignment. Their challenge is ideological friction. Progressive activists versus moderate suburban strategy. Climate and social justice maximalism versus electoral pragmatism. Institutional defense versus systemic overhaul. And historically, Democratic primaries can become ideological sorting wars. Republicans, by contrast, often consolidate faster once a power center becomes clear. That difference in tempo matters, because elections are not just about ideology. They are about energy management. Who builds momentum early? Who forces the other side to react? Who defines the battlefield first? Right now, Republicans appear to be structuring a succession conversation. Democrats appear to be waiting for one to impose itself. And that's the real divide. Not left versus right. Prepared versus uncertain. Organized versus debating. 2028 won't be decided in debates alone. It will be decided by which faction masters timing, coalition discipline, and narrative clarity. The future rarely belongs to the side that waits. It belongs to the side that starts building before everyone else realizes construction has begun. Why do I even care about USA when I don't give a tack about my own country? Well, not so happy about it, but DC decides everything. We all just follow. Namaste.